The 10 ox herding pictures are a series of short poems and drawings that depict a practitioner's journey of enlightenment. After finding and taming the ox, and then transcending both the ox and himself, and discovering the true nature of things, the very last of the 10 pictures shows the practitioner returning to society, a normal man in a market, there to share wisdom and compassion and ready to help others. Even as we deconstruct all mind objects and see their emptiness, the phenomenal world still plays out. And despite all its majesty and beauty, suffering inevitably persists. And where there is suffering, there is, no matter how hidden, a concern for that suffering to be released. But we need not wait for full enlightenment to start fostering compassion and be of service. And indeed, I would argue that you are never fully enlightened until everyone is. Wise love is realizing that it is not I or he or she or you that suffers individually, but it is the universe that suffers as a whole, and that to hate anyone else is to hate yourself. Now and throughout our journey, and always, we can tap into our natural care and love for ourselves and others and this world. Metta, or loving kindness meditation, is a method for connecting with those feelings of care, compassion, and acceptance that we're all capable of, and directing those feelings to different people, ourselves, and eventually everything. This meditation is tremendously powerful and healing, and I want to share how to do it so that more people can practice it and tangibly discover what unconditional love or agape is. So how do we practice metta? The thing to understand about the aim of metta is we're trying to cultivate an inner feeling of compassion and love, which we focus on and then grow. So it is a type of concentration practice, but it's a creative and dynamic concentration practice. And the way we develop these feelings of loving kindness is by using a combination of thoughts, imagination, and bodily feelings. So the object is alive. To start the meditation, I advise setting the intention to do the practice for the benefit of all beings. Now, if in the beginning that doesn't feel genuine and your motivation is more personal, that's okay. We start loving where we can and go from there. And in this context, it doesn't hurt to aspire to an ideal, even if it doesn't really seem close. Then, to begin generating these feelings of loving compassion, we typically pick a benefactor. This is someone who we can imagine directing our love towards. And we start with someone for whom it is easy for us to love. This could be a family member, a close friend, or even a pet, an animal who it's just so easy to wish well for. Imagine this individual happy and smiling or laughing, and then start thinking thoughts of benevolence in regards to them. And this can take the form of such statements like, may you be healthy, may you be happy, may you be safe and free from insecurities, may you feel deep peace, and may you love and be loved. Now, these are just some sayings, but it's important that you find what feels true and honest for you, and that you're not just repeating stock sentences like a mantra. So what do you really wish for this person? There should be an honest and visceral feeling behind these words. So search around and find where your true, authentic kindness can come from. One way to think about doing metta is we're trying to start a fire of love within us. And the benefactor and the thoughts and the mental images we generate are the kindling, the heat, and the oxygen that will spark the initial flames of metta in us. Once we get those initial flames, keep fanning them by continuing to send wishes of goodwill to the benefactor. You will know your metta has caught fire when you begin to detect feelings of bodily ease and softness and maybe warmth, and it just becomes noticeably easier to send love to that person. Now, if you don't feel these feelings, continue to do the practice anyway, because it's still good for you, and they may come later. After some time, you can try switching your benefactor for someone else with the intention of slowly sending your metta to beings you find less and less easy to wish well for. As the feelings of loving kindness grow in us, it becomes easier to expand our circle of compassion until you can send love to your enemies, you can send metta to your pain, your own pain even. And eventually, we can wind up in a state that is tantamount to being on MDMA or something, where the openness of your heart is so profound, it feels like the whole universe radiates love. In such a state, the sense of metta can be meditated on itself as the fire has become self-sustaining. Now, that's the tail end extreme of this practice, and you shouldn't expect to feel that every time. And in fact, it can very well happen that you don't feel strong feelings of loving kindness every time you sit. That's okay as well. The effort to do this practice is an act of love in itself and will make it easier for you to open that door more readily in the future. It's best to think of this as an ongoing exercise which becomes more easier in time the more we do it. In the beginning, it may feel like we're just going through the motions and it feels a bit contrived. If that's the case, stick with it. Trust me. There is something to the saying, fake it till you make it. One tip to help boost the metta is to add a smile to your face while meditating. Now, maybe you don't want to smile. Maybe it seems phony or ingenuine, but do it anyway. It is possible to trick your brain into feeling a little bit of happiness this way. And by feigning an emotion initially, it can become sincere. You see, you only need to be able to detect a hint of the quality of mind which you wish to emphasize. And by nurturing it with your attention, this will energize it and make it blossom in experience. In doing metta, it's important at some point to turn it inwards to yourself. And I mean at your sense of personhood, the character of you, your self models. Send love to your body, have love for your mind. This local being is lovable. And as the old adage goes, you cannot truly love someone until you love yourself. As we learn more about our own minds, we find more to love, and subsequently find more to love in others. Among its many benefits, metta can act as a very pleasurable and catchy meditation object. People may find it more enjoyable to focus on this than a duller object like the breath. Consequently, some people may more easily get very concentrated with this technique, and this can be a gateway to the jhanas, which are awesome for reasons not explained here. Metta can also work very well in conjunction with therapy. We can postulate that there are states of mind that are better suited for self-reflection and integrating past life experience. Even after we wake up, we must clean up. And metta has the potential of turning that inner critic into a compassionate voice of self-care, helping you to become your own best friend and a good coach unto yourself. I think, though, it's important we ground this practice in the practical world, and that it doesn't just become some selfish, pleasurable bliss out, but that we remember the sentiments we felt during the meditation and express them in our lives with the people we interact with. And also not expect this practice by itself to majorly change people's behavior or make us moral saints. So this has been my synopsis on metta or loving kindness meditation. Thank you very much for watching. It's often really helpful to practice metta with others, and listening to guided meditations can give you that boost that we need sometimes. I have guided meditations and other trainings in compassion on my Patreon page if you're interested. Finally, I will end with a quote by Thich Nhat Hanh. Understanding someone's suffering is the best gift you can give another person. Understanding is love's other name. If you don't understand, you can't love.